you have to think about where's the audience hanging out here and where does it make sense to push hard, right? Like what works in this realm is like the spaces, Twitter, Discord, and podcasts, right? YouTube even to an extent as well. All right, today we're going to talk about how to 10x your NFT sales. My name is Eric Su, creator of Leveling Up Heroes, personal growth NFT designed to help you level up 1% better every day. So let's get into it. So first things first, we learned a thing or two with Leveling Up Heroes, and I wanted to share with you what it's going to take to do really well and 10x your sales or even sell out. And we're seeing a lot of projects today that are not selling out. I was just looking at a project right now that released this week, and they weren't even close to selling out, right? I think it's just slightly over 10% or so. So it's becoming harder and harder to sell out, and want to give you a couple of pointers to, well, hopefully get there. So first things first, what's worked really well, what's tried and true is at the end of the day, doing allow list collaborations. And so what that means is maybe 2-3 months ahead of time, you're starting to reach out to other projects out there and just try to see if you can do allow list collaborations where you give them 5, 10, 20 of these ALs, and they'll share them with their audience, their Discord community. Maybe they can reserve a couple to do on Spaces, on Twitter Spaces. Maybe they can share a couple for Instagram as well, right? Just today, there's a guy that wanted to do like 20 of them with our community. And so it's an equal exchange here, because if you are giving away allow lists to your community, they're benefiting from it. And the other side is whatever project that wants you to do to allow lists, they are benefiting too, because they're getting to reach a new audience, right? And even if everyone doesn't, if they give out 20, like much more of people in your audience are going to become, they're now aware of this project, right? So that's kind of the marketing angle here. So I think for us, we wish that we would have pushed 3 to 4 times harder on our collaborations. And the good news is our next drop is coming in June. And so, we're going to be a lot more prepared for this one. I'm going to push a lot harder with collaborations, because that's what really works well at the end of the day. It's kind of a form of influencer marketing. And you can do whatever you want with these allow list collaborations, right? You can do giveaways, you can do different contests, you can do different games, you can do spaces, you can do posts on different social channels. A lot of different ways to play the game here with allow lists, and that's what's tried and true. And we talked about spaces, right? So for example, like I have a handful of friends for our next one, like a handful of friends that have a couple 100,000 Twitter followers. We're gonna do spaces, right? And on their spaces, maybe to their audience, we'll give out a couple of allow lists just randomly to the crowd, for people that maybe take an action or people that come on stage and speak a little bit. But it's a nice way of getting engaged with the community, right? It's once you have the collaboration set, it's how creative can you be with this marketable moment. And maybe I should define that too. Like marketable moments, like when you're doing like a new type of giveaway, that's a marketable moment. When you're releasing a new feature or a new set of utilities for your audience, like that is a marketable moment. So you can definitely use those, each of those moments to promote it out there on Twitter, on Instagram, on your Discord. But the key thing here is communication, and the key thing here is keeping people excited, right? And continuing to provide them value. And also when you start your Discord up and when you start to let people in, it's also important too to stay engaged with people, like maybe writing a weekly newsletter. Personally, what I do is I try as much as I can to do at least a weekly Loom video, updating people on what's going on, so they don't feel like they're getting rugged and they don't feel like things are dead, right? Because even with our project after our initial Genesis launch, like we're really heads down right now on, for example, our first event is in the next week or two, right? As of this recording. And we have new PFPs coming. We have a lot that we're working, like different speakers, a lot of logistical stuff that's going on, new team members that we're bringing onto the team, new people that we're hiring. But there's just a lot that's going on. But it's if you just kind of disappear and you don't communicate with your community, they're your advocates at the end of the day, right? We have these people that have committed their hard-earned money for this, and it's our job to kind of do right here. And if you do right by them, they're going to be your marketing army, because they're incentivized to also want to push and promote what you have going on too. Look, I obviously, like if you're watching this video right now, like here's a podcast mic, right? Like I do podcasts all the time. So it makes sense to get on other people's podcasts, to get on other NFT calendars, get on other NFT podcasts as well, and have them talk about your project. Like, is your project remarkable enough? Is there something worth talking about with your project? Does it stand for environmental health, right? Does it stand for education? For us, it stands for more personal growth, getting 1% better every day. It stands for connecting the right people together. That's what it really stands for at the end of the day. And so much magic happens from that, right? That's really where I get a lot of my energy from. So that podcasts, they go a long way because you're leveraging someone else's audience where they built trust already, and then through that, if you're able to be a good communicator, you're able to build trust with that audience too. They become aware of you, right? And they become interested in you, and they become interested in your project, right? So that's what it is at the end of the day. Email list too. So if you're getting on podcasts, or maybe you're running a podcast ad, I typically try to avoid ads in this space. Even though I have an agency that does, like, we run ads and we do SEO and all those things, right? Like, that type of stuff doesn't work that well in this space. You have to think about where's the audience hanging out here, and where does it make sense to push hard, right? Like, what works in this realm is like the Spaces, Twitter, Discord, and podcasts, right? YouTube, even to an extent as well. So think about that. Email list too. If you can buy into someone else's email list, then that could work well. Or it could be like a native ad as well, where you can basically have like that one email blast dedicated to you. Email is always proven to work well when it comes to trying to drive ROI. What works well too is events too, right? Like, if you can somehow manage to go to event, not sponsor a booth at an event, that's a different story, but go to event, connect with people, actually speak at the event too. And if you're just like 10% better than all the other projects out there right now, you have every right to speak at these events, right? Because I would say that you're much more qualified to do so. So that's that. One thing that I think we missed out on is making sure your team is ready too. So now we're going to be much more prepared for the next one. But when everyone buys and they come into your audience, like, making sure that they're taken care of, making sure that there's a community manager in there ready to greet them, making sure that there's moderators in there, making sure it's not going to be like dead space, right? You want to continue to engage with these people and continue to put things in place where they don't feel like they got rugged by you at the end of the day. And the final thing I'll say from my side is and don't forget to hit the like button, by the way, because it helps us grow, but clear messaging. The mistake that we made was we launched 2 different NFTs, in kind of a couple weeks apart, and we wish we would have launched one, because focusing on one, it makes it a lot clearer to people what you're all about, and it's already hard enough to do one project, right? Trying to do 2 it can be difficult, and clear messaging where you don't make people think. That's what marketing is all about at the end of the day. And marketing brings people to the point of sale, and sales is closing them, right? But if you've done a great job with a story, you've done a good job of bringing people to the point of sale, you should have no problem driving your sales up. So let me know if you think I missed anything in the comments below. And that is it for today. And don't forget to check out the next video over there, and we'll catch you later.